Just, you got to remember and be self-aware and emotionally intelligent enough to know there's deeper things that Nikki's feeling.
So what you're saying is that you would have liked me to have said,
hey, I'm frustrated and upset right now, but I'm not frustrated and upset at you. What this is bringing up for me is these things.
Great. So what did I also say?
Right.
I absolutely can own that, and I will say, okay, I can work on that. But what did I also say to you downstairs?
That's a cycle we get in. That's our cycle. Like that's our routine when we get into those moments. And being aware of that is like, all right, hey, we're in that spiral or cycle again. Let's pull ourselves out. And that's the big thing that I hope people can take away. When you're feeling these things, you think it's about the other person, but it never is really about the other person. It's about what is it bringing up for you. So I think knowing how you fight and how those things happen, and if you both can be aware, how do you stop that cycle? I think that's so important. Understand your dance, but then you got to peel that dance apart. Okay, why is the dance like that? Why is my partner dancing like this? Why am I dancing like this? What's happening there? And then the hardest part is being vulnerable enough to share it with each other. Welcome back to Over Dinner. I'm Jarrod.
And I'm Dr. Nikki.
What started out as conversations regarding relationships, parenting, and personal development over dinner turned into our podcast.
Yes, it did.
Here we are again.
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Wait, it is Thursday.
It is Thursday.
I don't even remember what day it is anymore.
Sometimes we don't know. These things just happen. We have an interesting dialogue for you tonight.
Wait, but what did we have
I'm
for
going to
dinner?
tell them. I was about to say that. This is part of why we're having this conversation. Tonight we made salmon pasta, one of our favorite dishes. We will put the recipe in the show notes. Just good salmon. You could use pasta. Sometimes we use spaghetti squash.
Sometimes we use bonza.
Sometimes we use bonza. But lots of butter, lots of lemon.
And dill.
And dill and parsley.
Yeah, that's right.
And shredded Parmesan cheese. We'll put the recipe in the show notes.
It's very good.
Very good. Nick, why don't you tell them what we're going to talk about tonight?
This conversation that you're about hearing is actually the middle of a tiff, fight, conflict.
Yeah, all of it.
We're still in it.
We're in it.
We paused in the middle of
In the middle of it.
to go record this because we promised you that we would show up authentically and in the messiness of life. And we thought that not only would it be good for us to be able to untangle, but for you to hear how we communicate, because we were not always in this place.
Nope.
And we both are heated. However, the way it used to be was either screaming or complete avoidance.
Yep. And let's just be honest, we didn't eat dinner together tonight.
No, we did not have dinner.
We ate in separate areas.
Yeah.
We made the food.
Yeah.
And then we ate in separate areas because we were in it.
Yeah.
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 But something that I've learned to do, which I didn't do in the past, and why we're sitting here now, is I came back and engaged, which before I would just completely avoid. And you would always have to be the one to come back and say, are we going to freaking talk about this or what? Mm-hmm. But I had, as I've said before on the podcast, I'm a processor. So I was enjoying my nice meal outside, listening to the birds.
Cool.
A little John Mayer. I was able to process and understand what was going on for me, how I felt, and came back, and then we started, and we were making some progress, but there was still some stuff there. So we said, let's pause and let's finish it here.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we are.
Here we are.
Well, should we tell them what we were arguing about?
Set up the scene, Nick.
Okay. Well, what's interesting is we had a podcast episode all about this, money.
Yep.
So we actually, I think that was like what, episode, I don't know, I'll link it
There's
for you.
just so many now. I don't even know.
we're on episode 15. This is episode 15. I think it was like episode
That's my favorite number.
6. I can't remember. Whatever. It does not matter. But something that we have researched and also have heard a lot about from our friends is that money is a really big conflict in relationships. We've worked through a lot within our journey, and we're still figuring it out. I think we're individually building our relationships around what money means to us. If you listen to the last episode, we talked about legacy. We talked about that. So I'm just giving.
We had the whole episode that was strictly about money. Yeah,
strictly about money,
yeah.
And money conflict, right?
Yep.
So tonight specifically was about what?
You tell them.
Was it about the chairs?
I mean, that was the surface level part of it.
Right,
But there was
okay.
a lot more underneath.
Okay, so we just, as you may have been listening and following along,
All
we
you
just,
guys.
I think in this episode we talked about getting the backyard done
Mm-hmm.
because of how important it was for our family to have that space, especially with me being home with the kids and having that safety component, specifically for Jake. So we got the backyard. It's going to be in multiple stages. Let's be real, but the first stage of our backyard project is complete.
Yes.
So we had as a team had decided that if we were going to do the backyard, then other purchases were going to be on layaway.
Yes.
And we both agreed on that.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge that comes up is that there are everyday expenses and we don't have daily communication about what we're spending. This is something that Jarrod has asked me to do, and it's something that I feel is extremely demeaning, and I don't feel like I should ask every single time I buy something. But he's not asking to give me permission. He's asking to be aware of what is actually going out, and like he's knowing kind of
Because I'm the one that tries to track those things more.
right. That's not in my wheelhouse
Yes.
at this moment.
And I would just say to that point, if it was, we probably wouldn't have to have that conversation. If
okay,
you were,
I don't want to go into that
Okay.
right now. So, anyways, we got this backyard done, but we have a fire pit and no chairs. And I've been scouring the internet. Jarrod is mouthing that we have chairs.
we have chairs.
Yes, so they're teak chairs. And last summer, I cleaned with my hands.
What? you didn't use
It was so challenging. So I have invited Jarrod. If you want to clean the teak chairs, you can do that. The thing is they're not like they're going to get weathered, and so I want to get like I don't know how to pronounce it, the Adriatic chairs, whatever, that are all weather resistant and that can stand the test of time out in the fire pit. So I have been trying to scour the internet to find a good deal on chairs. We kind of discussed max was what, $60 a chair was what we had talked about. And what we thought about tonight was,
Well, let's talk about what happened earlier yesterday going into today.
okay,
Was we also want to get mulch in our front yard, right? Mm-hmm. And so the chairs that you wanted showed me yesterday would probably add up to a little over, close to $400, right? For 4 chairs, so that was a little less than $100.
no. We're talking about the chairs for today.
I know, but I'm saying why. Also, how we got into the thing tonight was we made a choice yesterday that I agreed. Okay,
I
good,
sent you 3 different chairs, right? And
but then we decided we're going to get the mulch, which would cost $350. I'm like, all right, then we have to get the $22 chairs because it's if you want no mulch, then we can get the right chair, the chairs that you really want, right? So to me, and then today you send me more chairs, right, that are more expensive. And I like we did, you added and said, oh, it's only going to cost this much more, $120, $117 more. But to me, it's like we already agreed because we were deciding on getting the mulch that we needed to spend less on the chairs, right? And then what happened today when I got home or when we started talking today?
I honestly don't remember.
No, I think it's just, there was already stuff from earlier. We already had a little frustration earlier based off something I said that probably added to, right? So when
What happened in that moment? I think it's also really important to say. So earlier I had shared with Jarrod that I was trying to get a hold of somebody that I personally had felt that it was an important conversation that I needed to have. And I was telling him
which
that
someone was, we needed, our gate was not put on, right? Our gate was not put on, our fence.
yeah. So
Our contractor,
yeah.
he took off our fence to get the machines in to do all the work, and he didn't put it back on.
Yeah, and there was also a couple other things I wanted to go over. So I had called him multiple times and reached out. And when I shared this with you, it was very dismissive. Your response was dismissive. It was like telling me, it was gaslighting, like, relax, like, not a big deal, like, you're fine kind of feeling. You may have not done that, but that's how I received it. So something that I felt was important felt like it wasn't important to you. And then what frustrated me is like, I'm the one who's here. This is important to me. This is not in your wheelhouse, which is, again, we talked about the money. Like, that's something you're thinking about, right? So I felt frustrated about that. Then I was sending chairs to you while I was downstairs that had, that I found 4 chairs for half the price of what the ones I saw yesterday. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why would we spend $91 on plastic chairs when we could spend $170 more and get chairs that we actually will use longer, that we like, because what we're going to have to do is rebuy chairs anyways, and we're going to spend more money. And then my other thought process was, we're going to spend that money no matter what.
And what did I say to that?
Right. That we'll be spending $170 less.
We're still going to spend the money afterwards, no matter whether we buy the cheaper chairs or the more expensive chairs. We just know for this purchase, we could save $171. Yes, we're going to spend another $171 somewhere else, but we would have spent that even if we bought the less expensive chairs. So we're going to still purchase the same way we would have purchased whatever chairs we bought afterwards. Okay. So my theory was we're still saving $171. But it wasn't just that. It was like, did you get my text messages? Did you read them? Do you want to read them now? Like we were already in a frustration place. So then and we'll talk about how that impacts me, right? But that's how it started, right? After that.
Yeah.
Right?
So Jarrod feels that it's the no that gets me upset. And it's not the no. I understand the no. I can respect the no. It's what all the underneath feelings come up for me in that moment, which is like lately we've been talking about how ADHD has impacted me in regards to my career and how frustrating that is for me. And that feels very unsatisfying. It feels really frustrating. I feel disappointed in myself. And so then this goes alongside of things that we talked about in the entrepreneurial episode about like my goals and achievements and things I want to do for myself, but me not being a financial contributor at this time in our partnership is challenging. So what it brings up to me is that I am not an equal in the relationship. I am not a financial contributor. Like, I have to ask for permission. I feel frustrated. I feel stuck. I feel helpless. Like I don't have a voice is what it feels like. So that's not what you are making me feel, but that's how I take it because of my own story. Right. And so that's what's the chairs are just like the symbol,
yeah.
But the feelings of all those layered pieces is a lot.
Yeah. And then to me, the way that expresses for you and how I receive it is it's shots at me, right? So we got to the point, when I came back to, you said like, it isn't about you. It's about these feelings that this stuff brings up for me. But the way it comes out to me at some times is jab, 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 jab at Jarrod.
And how did I respond to that? I acknowledged and said, yes, absolutely.
And then what did you say?
I don't remember.
You said, well, you should have some emotional intelligence, Jarrod, and be aware that that's not about you. It's about these feelings that I'm having inside. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you don't have to be emotionally intelligent and self-aware, but then you get to hit me with something, and then I'm supposed to in that moment go, wait a minute. She's not ripping me. It's these underlying feelings of I'm not a contributor to all that. So you want me to be emotionally intelligent, but you don't want yourself to be. Yes?
I just am.
But in those moments, you're saying you're not supposed to be, that I'm supposed to be the one, that I'm supposed to interpret your jabs at me as these underlying feelings. But you're not supposed to be aware of the underlying feelings.
Of you?
No, of yourself.
But I am aware.
But it doesn't come out that way. It comes out as Jarrod.
Of course it does. Like, are you like new to psychology?
I just thought
it was. Are you new to this whole thing? Like, I just thought it was
hilarious that in that moment that we're having that, I was the one who needed to be self-aware, not you. That's what the ask was. You're saying, when I'm saying those things, it's not coming at you, Jarrod. Just you got to remember and be self-aware and emotionally intelligent enough to know there's deeper things that Nikki's feeling.
So what you're saying is that you would have liked me to have said,
hey, I'm frustrated and upset right now, but I'm not frustrated and upset at you. What this is bringing up for me is these things.
Great. So what did I also say? I absolutely can own that, and I will say, okay, I can work on that. But what did I also say to you downstairs?
What?
You reacted in defense. So
yes,
you didn't say like, hey, this seems like something's going on with you. Like,
for
can
sure.
you tell
so
me?
we both were not emotionally intelligent in the moment.
Right. So I wanted to bring that up because what you just asked of me to share that is exactly the same thing that I was asking of you. Yes.
But my feeling is, if it started with you going there first, I wouldn't have been defensive, right? Because it would have already it would have started that way.
Sure.
Is that true or not?
I'm just over it.
But I'm just asking a question. Is that true?
Sure.
This is fun. So what can we learn and hopefully help others learn in situations like this?
I don't know, Dr. Jarrod. You tell us.
I'm not the doctor. You're the emotionally intelligent one.
I know.
Okay, so what can we learn? And what are we going to learn moving forward? Because it hasn't been like we've not had these moments. I think we've previously in more recent experiences actually done what we just said we should have done, and both of us have done that situation. Mm-hmm. I think we've done a better job, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was a trigger that happened earlier that had nothing to do related to this that added on top.
What was the trigger? The
first conversation when we got home. I think that elevated emotions already, right? And then and then it just kept spiraling because we didn't slow ourselves down. We just kept going. You worked out. I hung out with the kids, cooked dinner. We took Sydney. It was, and then it kept going. We didn't slow ourselves down. I think that's what we've done more recently, a better job of like, and what's funny is like we had therapy yesterday and we do EFT and Dr. Sue Johnson.
Emotionally focused therapy.
Yeah. And Dr. Sue Johnson's like the main person in it.
Who
just passed recently in April. But I was listening to her on a podcast with Tim Ferriss. I'll put it in the show notes. But something our therapist, she's Star, right? Mm-hmm. Star. That's a cycle we get in. That's our cycle. Like that's our routine when we get into those moments. Mm. And being aware of that is like, all right, hey, we're in that spiral or cycle again. Let's pull ourselves out. Like she said,
can you explain this a little bit more? What is give an example of what our cycle is? Because I think to what you said, like, what are we going to share and like how?
So learn? Our cycle is Nikki gets a lot more elevated emotions in these moments, and then when those emotions come out, that frustration and it feels like an attack on me, I go shut down mode or I go pure defensive, and then we just get in this cycle of essentially trying to win. Mm-hmm. Like who can get the other person more. And before it would just be like jab after jab after jab, or my default was complete silence, withdraw. And we can nail it down. That's our thing. So Star helped us be aware of that. That's your cycle. That's what happens to you guys is if you're aware of it and how can you pull yourselves out when you're like, hey, we're in that thing again. Let's step away for a few minutes, come back together because we're doing it to each other. Mm-hmm. We're not being nice and kind to each other. And to your point, for both of us, it's like, that's what you were experiencing. It had nothing to do with the chairs or any of that. It was this underlying, and that's the big thing that I hope people can take away. When you're feeling these things, you think it's about the other person, but it never is really about the other person. It's about what is it bringing up for you.
Whether I wouldn't say never, but
but it's like I'm not being seen, I'm not valued, I don't contribute. These are things that might not be true, but that's what I'm feeling
right
internally. And then for me is like she doesn't respect me, the conversations that we had, right, and all these things, which also is not true. But those are my stories, and you have your stories, and we let those stories play out against each other in those conversations. So we're more aware of them, and those moments like we had tonight are not happening. They were a lot more frequent before. Like there were some challenging times where those came up a lot. So I think knowing how you fight and how those things happen, and if you both can be aware, how do you stop that cycle, come back and really go in and be like, what was that actually about? It's never about whatever that external thing is. It never is about that, and we let it go a little too far tonight. I mean, this is still pretty good for us because that was like 30, 45 minutes. I mean, before it could have been hours into the next day. So
I don't even think it was 30 minutes.
yeah, I think we've done a good job, but it's good to circle back and for me to know, because underneath I do know those things, but in the moment it feels attacking, so I go defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though like I go, oh, put my guard up. That's based off therapy, a lot of other things in my past of why the guard goes up. Protection mode for me protects me, and for you it's the same, a similar mechanism why you go there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're both individually aware of why we do those things and how that plays out in our cycle of when we get in arguments or when we fight. And it's just, as a couple trying to be aware, someone's got to jump in or someone's got to realize it and be like, whoa, we're in it. This isn't, we're just beating each other down. This isn't fun. No one's enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any thoughts on what I said or reflections off what I said?
I think where I was thinking that you could go actually after that, is understanding your own experience is a really important part. We've talked about that in a couple episodes of like how important that is for you to know what is going on for you, what your story is, what are the beliefs that you've been telling yourself, because these are underlying a lot of this situation. But when you don't know that, it's really easy to do the blame game and to be very defensive and to not do any self-inventory or reflection of what is my part in this? Why was I so reactive? What brought this out for me? And so I think he was, I need to, when you edit this, I need you to like remember which episodes are which, because there's a lot to go back to.
Yeah.
Because in one of the episodes you actually talked about like taking a self-inventory, right? And like getting to know yourself. And that's part of the mindfulness journey, and that's part of this self-reflection as we are evolving. So that was one thing that I took. And then the other thing was really how valuable learning our cycle has been, because it's helped not only with cooling things down sooner and like quicker, but it also about the language being used and being more aware of like not even getting to the cycle, right? Because recognizing what is painful for you or is really hard to hear, or that like is when you shut down, has been very eye-opening. And for the most part, tonight doesn't, is we're all human, right?
We're not gonna be perfect,
but for the most part it has helped me with my communication to you when things feel funky, right? So it's like that understanding our cycle was a really big part. And so that, big takeaway for individuals, like if you are able to go to couples therapy with an emotionally focused trained therapist, it's a great opportunity to learn more about that dance.
Yep. I would, so I want to ask you, and I'll answer the same questions. I think it's interesting. What beliefs come up for you in that moment of that, why you respond that way? Like, what stories are you telling yourself? Like I said earlier, I don't know if this is true, but it's like, I'm not valued. He doesn't think I'm contributing at all. Like, what beliefs are you telling yourself, or maybe underlying the response that you give in a moment like that?
When we're specifically standing looking at the computer, or like when
those bigger emotions come up, like when I'm saying no, or we can't do this, this is why.
I think honestly, like the biggest thing is inadequacy, because like for me, even though I have had success, and even though I have, when I look back and I see what I've done, I'm like, wow, I've really done a lot. In my mind, I do not feel that I am doing or have done what I believe my potential. It's not good enough. It's all underlying of inadequacy.
And that's farther back than just work.
Oh yeah,
those beliefs.
Yeah, that's from from the get go. But
that's what I wanted to point out.
But then the money piece, money has always been a weird, I think for most people, to be honest, but like money, in my opinion, I actually just wrote about this today, because I was thinking about the fact that I have forever chased the dollar, thinking that was going to bring me success, the happiness, the fulfillment, all of the elements, like whether that was even in jobs or in entrepreneurism or like feeling like I needed like the best of the things, like not necessarily like brands and stuff, but like just the nice stuff. Right? All that had a lot of weight, but I've realized now that it like doesn't matter at all. Right? Money matters in the sense of things that we've discussed for like opportunity for our children, for us to have a life that we can do and explore and experience, but it doesn't mean happiness. So I think two pieces there is like understanding my own relationship with money, and then two, the bigger picture of just inadequacy.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to highlight because
I feel that I grew up with an imbalanced partnership with my parents. So I also grew up with a mother who was the breadwinner in a time in the 90s when there wasn't a lot of women doing what she was doing. And my dad took a step back. And there were things that she said that made me feel that he was inadequate, that he was not pulling his weight, that he was not contributing. And so I think I get really triggered because I'm now taking that role of being at home, even though I have my own aspirations. I'm choosing this season in life to be at home and to build on the side instead of the other way. And that's also really hard for me because of this ideal I have of what success is, right? And so I have that. And then lately, literally the last like 2 weeks, a Coco and a couple other people, Albert said it yesterday to me, like people like, I love your parents. They're so nice. Like your dad's just like such a great guy, just really good. And your mom, she's the boss. She runs that house. And I don't know how I feel about that. So, and then further than that, like I had to ask my mom for money, like, and there was like a tie there. And I just think that money is a thing for me. And then it also equates to success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I appreciate you sharing that because I think that's what I wanted to get to is our cycle and our dance and fighting. It goes back to how these beliefs formed from childhood.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, when you are elevated emotions attacking me, I feel not accepted, not good enough, not loved. And that's from my own childhood. Those are the things that are coming up for me. So that's a shutdown piece for me. Right. So we're both experiencing different stories and different beliefs from our past experiences. And it's playing out in this relationship because that's just how it works. Like those beliefs don't just go away naturally because you're not in that environment anymore. They stick with you. And so to your point, when you said earlier, like that awareness of the stories and the beliefs of what makes us similar is we have the same emotions, but those emotions stem from different beliefs and different experiences in our lives, right? And our individual awareness of those, right? And then to the point where we can share it with each other. Like that's what's been really helpful in our relationship and most importantly in therapy is being able to share those stories and those beliefs and what got us here and why we show up the way we do and maybe react to certain things or display behaviors in certain ways. As you said, it helps me communicate with you better because now I know more of why when I go there, right, why you go to that place and why you shut down or why you get defensive or why you shut out, right? So I think that's so important. Understand your dance, but then you got to peel that dance apart. Okay, why is a dance like that? Why is my partner dancing like this? Why am I dancing like this? What's happening there? And then the hardest part is being vulnerable enough to share it with each other. But like that's been the most magical piece of therapy for us is like understanding each other a little bit more than probably we did. And I think I'm even realizing stuff about myself that I couldn't make connections to before because we were a really wonderful therapist. I'm like, oh, that makes complete sense now. So I can now be more aware of myself, but also more aware of you, right? Talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, but that which allows me to now be aware of your experiences because I know more, because you've shared it with me and you've been able to understand that more through your own work.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel now?
Tired.
Really tired. No, but I think this is good. This actually helped, right? I think it helped.
But the thing is, it's still not solved. So I think.
But what is solved? Solved
so
to me isn't deciding what chairs we're buying.
But see, that's why I want to, because the thing is that this is going to come up again. Right?
Chairs or this dance?
For everybody, the dance comes back.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure.
But also this specific topic around money and around like budgeting and all these things, like I feel that we patch it up, but then life continues on and then these pop up again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it never happens again.
True.
So, because like we recorded an episode about money.
Yeah. Well, in the episode, we said we have our meetings and we got away from those.
Yeah.
Because of the podcast. Paradoxically, that happened.
Yeah.
So what we talked about, I think this last week, was those 4 hours that we spend or 5 hours that we spend on Sunday doing this, we have to pull 1 hour out and get back to that. And then you've asked me a few times because we've tried a couple of things that haven't worked, right? So,
if you guys have recrecommendations,
yeah, please.
On budgeting, I just sent you actually a guy on Instagram. I sent it to your phone. He's like a personal finance expert, I guess. Yeah. He's national bestseller, million followers.
Oh, then he's got to have the answers.
But if you guys have any recommendations, or if you have anybody you follow or books, like, it's finding like what works. I also believe that if I was at a job getting a paycheck weekly, right, there'd be a different investment on my part. And then also, even when I making money just in my own business, there's a different awareness of money. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think, and you've asked, and so I think we're going to try something, which is like, I just need to tell me how much I have to spend each month, which I haven't done that yet.
No.
Right. It's like, this is the money that you have. So then to your point, you don't feel you have to ask again. Yeah. And we talked about if I'm about to go over, okay, then I should come and talk about it. Right. So giving you like, right, here's the budget for you. Here's the budget for the kids for the month. Go girl.
And you.
And me. Yeah. I don't spend that money. I just buy books.
That's a lie. But
what else do I buy?
Supplements, golf shorts.
When I have zero golf. That's the first time I've ever bought golf shorts in my life.
That's so untrue.
And did I ask?
Yeah.
And I said one. You encouraged me to buy. Right. So, and I hope that what I'm trying to do by that is like, this is our money, and I was buying something for myself that we had not discussed, and I want to let you know that I value you just as much, right? And that I need to ask you because this is our money. Like. You are contributing because we would have to spend a lot more money if the kids did not have care and do all the things that you do for them. Right. So you are making us money by not allowing us to have to spend more because we need extra care, and you do tons for our family. So this is our money and our family's money. So it's not just, yes, and I still could be better in those circumstances. Right. But like certain things that we don't talk about, like being invited to go hang out with friends, it's not really like we don't talk about money then.
No.
I think it's just something we both value.
Yeah, but I think that's also like, again, one of the podcast episodes is like, where do you set boundaries?
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's just overkill. And like also like me going to like dinner this past week and then this weekend and then next week, like
it's a lot.
That the amount of the fucking chairs.
Yeah.
And so like I'm annoyed.
But for me, I'm more of an experienced guy versus a chairs
But I would
guy.
like to invite people over to be at the fire pit.
I hear you.
And I can't but spend the money to go get the chairs because of I'm going to the other things. That's frustrating to me because I would rather just have people over than go out to dinner. I'd love to host.
I feel that.
So he's thinking about it now.
Yeah, but like both, I think both are true.
How about I say this?
Both are true.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay.
What if I say we're going to save money?
No.
By getting the chairs, the $171, we're going to save the money because we will not be going out and people will bring BYOD dinner. So, like, I'm just saying.
Oh, I thought it was something else.
No. So I'm just saying, imagine having the chairs and we invite people over and we actually save $171 because we're not going out to dinner or paying for Ubers. Like, this is
pay for
fucking
Ubers.
Genius.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
I think I might have gotten them.
No. We're still getting $22 chairs.
I don't want those ones.
I know. It's because of what you said before. You like nice things.
You do too, Mr. Libra.
Thank you.
You like nice things. You just like pretend you're like.
No, I don't pretend. I do like nice things.
I like the ground.
Yeah, let's sit on the ground.
You're
man.
like, make it a nice ground.
Yeah, make it a really nice ground.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Yeah, for sure. Anything else?
I don't know.
Are we good?
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel better.
I shared this last night in therapy. Like, the way I view love, it's not conditional. So, like, I never think this is gonna be bad.
Oh,
or like, I always know it's gonna work out.
Oh, for sure. I didn't know that in the past. I do know that now.
Yeah. Like, it's not over. Like, nothing's like. But
Wait, we're still gonna stay married?
Yes.
Okay.
But, well, I mean, if I can't get the more expensive chairs.
Yeah, see, threatens me that way.
No. So I'm just saying, like, I never think. So I grew up with these little pop-ups of TIFFs, right? Jared's nodding his head. He was
and I used to be very uncomfortable with those in your family.
But like that was the way we did things, right?
And I think that carried you into our relationship. Like, oh, we're just gonna hash it out, and I'm like, no, hide, go in my shell,
right? But like,
duck over.
But like, I know, like, okay, we talk about it and we move on. So that's what I was used to. So I don't see it like a disagreement, tiff.
No, but we always ask it after every conversation.
What?
We always ask, are we good?
Yeah, no, but
that's why I was asking.
But like, are we good? Like, nux, not like, are we good? I'm just saying, I wanted to repeat that because one of your fears is saying no to me, or me saying you say no, and
you being disappointed,
me being disappointed, right? So I'm just saying that it's never conditional.
Oh, I know that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we were good.
Yeah, we're good.
Because we got to go to bed, and you don't like going to bed if we're not good.
No, that's very true. Although I did just see something that came out that said you should go to bed if you're not, like...
Yeah, I don't think that's us.
I won't. I have anxiety, so...
I don't, because then, yeah.
It goes the next day.
I actually don't like it either.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about it.
Because by the coming home that day, I will just probably have totally forgot about it.
Yeah, same. I have ADHD.
Yeah, I have push emotions away, D. Push emotions away, D. P-E-A-D.
P-E-A-D.
Yeah, I have peed.
Yeah, I just would like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. No, I don't think that would be true.
No, but I mean, I forgot about tonight already.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is good. No, I think this is raw. This is real. We're in it. An hour of it.
I think another thing, just to say as we round the bend to ending,
we're tired.
is vulnerable is a hard thing to do.
Yep.
And it's really worth it.
Really worth it.
Really worth it.
And that's someone who does not like to be vulnerable.
Yeah. You've grown a lot.
It's very, very worth it.
Yeah.
It's changed our relationship.
And you.
Yeah. But it's
changed our relationship a lot.
Change me and change our relationship.
This is why we are on a podcast talking about our disagreements, because of his action to do that.
Yep. Which guys, seriously, never. I would never go back. And I've learned my thing, and now she's more aware of me, is that she can understand in the moment what's going on, express it very clearly, articulately, where I need to process. So I need that space.
So would you say that I'm more emotionally intelligent?
Sure. Why don't you? Obviously not tonight. You just expected me to be more emotionally intelligent. But like, it's so important, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I couldn't be emotionally intelligent, or I couldn't come back to you because I was not self-aware first.
Right.
There was no chance. I wasn't self-aware.
So once again, it starts with you.
I mean, I feel like we're always going to say this on any
Self-work
episode.
makes the dream work.
Oh, yeah. That's our hashtag.
Hashtag self-work
Hashtag.
makes the dream work.
Yeah. But like, I think in any conversation.
You heard it first on Over Dinner.
On Over Dinner. Remember that.
Yeah.
But I think that's in any conversation we have back to everything, it's just always going to come down to that.
It is.
Especially in a relationship.
My dad always used to say this thing, 1 + 1 is 2.
What?
Wait, was it 1 +
Genius.
1? No, but in relationships, he's like,
I say 1 + 1 is 3.
no, but like he used to be like 0 + 1 is not. He was referring to like me in a relationship.
I know what you mean.
Like being an independent individual who like understood my own neuroses as well as like who I am, brought more to a relationship and looking for a partner.
So that's
who's
how 1
done the
+ 1
same.
= 3.
Why is 3?
So
Who's the fucking third
great
person?
great individual is not just two great individuals. It's a 3. It's there's more possible.
Why don't we not call it a 3? Why don't we call it 2 with benefits?
Okay, I'll just say 3.
Okay. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is 2 of us with benefits. No? Okay, we're getting tired and a little loopy. Anything else, my love? Last words?
No, what about you?
No, you've killed it.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're amazing.
So, which chairs do we get?
We'll talk later. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Please subscribe. Please leave us comments because this one's an interesting one. Love to hear. Do you know your dance? Do you know the cycle with your partner? What does that look like? Any advice for us on finances would be super, super helpful. So,
And if you have any chairs that you are around $60 per...
Nope, we actually are down to less than 40. So any great chairs less than 40 that are, what are they called?
Adrianic?
Adrianic. Probably the wrong word. But we appreciate you guys. Let us know what you thought about this episode. We're going to keep doing this. If we're in something, hopefully not as many because hopefully we're not in as many things, but we feel this is real. And we want to talk about our relationship and always the human experience. And we were in one tonight and we had to record it. So we hope you liked it. Peace out. Over Dinner. Out.